to share with you today. So my name is Ellen Woodbridge and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. So I use and sell Stampin' Up! Products, so you are always welcome to purchase from me, or I'm just here to give you some inspiration for the products that you already have in your stash. So I'd love you to say hi. If you're here, look, I've got Deb well trained and she's already saying hi. Hi, Deb. Please make sure you like and subscribe, hit the bell, do all of those things. That really supports me and helps new people find me and hang out and have a whole lot of fun together, because there's one thing we have during my live videos on both Facebook and YouTube at the same time, which is awesome. We have a whole lot of fun, which is great. So I was saying on Saturday I had a craft along-a-thon. Okay, so it's a craft along-a-thon. Hey Bev, how are you? So this was organised by some of our staff in the South Pacific. Hey Michelle. So we have, because I'm a demonstrator for Stampin' Up, as I said, so our managers, our demonstrator development managers, put on a 3-hour craftathon. Now I have already shared all the 3 projects that I've made. Thank you, Milton. I don't feel I have an accent until I'm in a room full of Americans, and then I go, oh yeah, I really do have an accent. Thank you for sharing, Bev. I appreciate that. Hey Leanne, hey Ali. So yeah, I want to share with you something that I made, and it's a technique that I really love. And I was reminded of it because I haven't done it in a long time. It's something I did even before Stampin' Up, and it's ink smooshing with Emboss Resist. So this is the card that I've made. So as you're coming in, I would love, I'm going to make 2 cards. So I'm going to do 2 different color combinations. So I want 2 pairs of colors because I've got supplies, but I don't have my inks. So I would love 2 pairs of colors. Now, we were shown this technique. Now I am having a total brain blank. It was Angela, who is on our artisan team. Let me see if I can have a look, because I always forget her surname. Angela Moritz Reed, and she is on our artisan design team, and she shared this with us. She's in New Zealand. She is amazing. Hey Laurie. Oh, it is. So she used a different stamp set, but I used her color combination because we got a whole printout, which was great. So I sort of had things pulled that I needed. So I got that printout. Sorry if you heard a dog moan. I do have Louisa under the desk. So do one with purples. So Fresh Freesia, because I loved the way the Fresh Freesia came out on this one. And you know, girls, I'm a purple girl. So if we go Fresh Freesia and Gorgeous Grape, these actually will look really good together. So that's one combo. So give me another combo. Now, when she showed us her sample, she did it on basic white paper. So this is the first card I made. Now, unfortunately, you do use a bit of water, and I have always found that our basic white paper doesn't take water so well. So when I did the card that I love, which gives me great ink detail, that I will show you, don't worry, and it is actually quite quick, the technique. When I did this one, I used shimmery white paper. So today I'm going to show you this technique with shimmery white paper and watercolor paper. So I want to show you how it turns out on both of those, because both of those papers take water beautifully. Obviously the watercolor is designed to take water, but let me just show you side by side and you can just see the difference in the definition. So I've done the same thing, or the same technique on both sides. I did this ink a bit differently. I had one in the middle and then one on either end. So girls, I still need another pair of colours, please. Hey Roz. You wish your dog would lie under my desk. She just wants me to hold her. Well, she walked in and just plonked herself on the floor. Apparently Dad, or David, Master, is not being very exciting today and she wants Mum. So yeah, so I just like the definition that you get. Greens. Okay, let me have a look. Now, soft succulent, huge fave. Should I go soft succulent and evening evergreen? That would be really, really nice. And I am using a different stamp set today. So these are really nice pairing of colours. But do you know what? I could have chosen two totally different colours and I would still look awesome. So I'm going to use the open images from Hand Penned. Hey Margine. Green and a yellow. Well, how about I leave in, because using a pair of colours, I'd like to use two different colours. So does pale papaya work? Because this would look really nice together. So we'll do that. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so we'll do one with pale papaya and soft succulent, and the other one is all the purples, is fresh freesia and gorgeous grape. And I've got my stamp set, got Versamark, got white embossing powder. I have my medium that we're going to do our ink smooshing on, and I've got a little piece of paper to catch my powder, heat tool. I think we're all ready to go. Look at us go. And I think I have a bug. I did. I had a bug on my mat. Ew. Okay, let me just move one single cord here. That is out of the way. Ooh, definitely. Okay, Ali is on board. Bev is on board. That's awesome. Oh, she must be very tired. There's lots of sighing because apparently I keep waking Louisa up. She'll probably trot to the door at some stage and want to be let out of the room. So let's flip around and stop jabbering and get started. So this is from the Craftathon. Then at 10 o'clock the Zoom started on Saturday night. Then I went to bed and had my class on Sunday. So I actually had a very busy day, and once I'd cleaned up, been for a walk, all of that, the Zoom was still going. Hello, Miss Candy. So the Zoom was still going, and I came back and said hello to everyone, but Candy wasn't on the Zoom. She'd already escaped. Hey, Sunny, haven't seen you for a while. Oh. There you go, there's my breakfast dishes, because I'm apparently being a slob today and haven't taken my breakfast dishes to the kitchen. Mind you, the dishwasher is full. Okay, let's get up my second screen so I can see everyone, because I went off it for a second. So, there we go. I have everyone. My desk is looking okay. Now, we just need our paper. So, a piece of shimmery white. There. Now, the shimmery white is a very, very subtle shimmer, but it's beautiful in real life. I just cannot do it justice on screen. Oh, which one's my full pack? This is my open pack, and this is our watercolor paper. So it comes in these pre-cut sheets, and it is cotton. I think it is hot. I think it's cold pressed actually, and it is really quite white. I know my grid paper is very, very white, but, and I've got a piece of our old paper here. This paper, that is the smooth side. It is a lot smoother in texture, and that's the comparison. I've always kept a comparison of the old, but it does have a lot smoother texture, which I appreciate. And normally hot press watercolor paper is a lot smoother. Hey Barbara, hey Kathy, thanks for joining. So we're doing a bit of technique work today, something I normally don't do. So a bit different. Now, I'm thinking I may want to get down my trimmer and just give this a bit of a trim down. Thinking 3.5 inches looks kind of good. Okay, now where did I must have put that back? So pop my scrap back in there, and this piece I kind of want to, because I think this actually is, well, that is already 10 centimeters. Maybe I do a full background. I wonder, I don't have anything in here anymore that's pre-colored. I did wonder if I had anything colored, but that's okay. We're just going to do, how about we go 3.5 again. We'll just have 2 different size pieces. The sizes of the pieces won't actually affect our technique at all. It will just be what it is. So I already have an idea of which edge is going on each. So because this one's a bit more standy-uppy, I'm looking at putting our flower on this one, like our single, it's not single flower, but our flower on the stem on this one, and then putting our bunch of flowers on the shimmery white. So let's get these all done. Now what you will need, I know that it's there, what you will need if you're playing at home is, oh look at that, that fits perfectly. And I can always trim this piece down, which I think I will. I may trim this piece down, but we'll see. You will need Versamark ink, white embossing powder, heat tool, and some dye-based inks or water-based inks, which our classic inks are. Okay, so got my stamps. Get some blocks. Come on, come on. Oh, blocks too small. Need big blocks today. That's unusual that these big blocks come out. Nice using some big bold images. Oh, you're around, Sunny. Oh, that's awesome. 60 treat bags. That's awesome. Hello, Miss Cindy. Oh, nice. How is your mum? I hope she is well. Okay, so I'm going to stamp these and emboss them at exactly the same time, just for ease of use. Now this is something that Stampin' Up doesn't sell, but this is my very sad flat Stampin' Up version. This is a embossing buddy, and what it does is it just stops any static cling happening, so then we get a nice crisp image when we pour the embossing powder on, and it doesn't go any places we would not like it to. Now this part is going to be really boring for the fact that you're not going to see anything because we are stamping white on white, so you're not going to see anything. First of all, this is a watermark ink pad, and second of all, the embossing powder is white, so you're not even going to see it melt. Okay, this is one. Just going to scooch this out of the way. I just have a scrap of paper here that I'm going to use to catch white embossing powder. Now, we've had the chat that I recently changed over my white embossing powder because my old one had actually gone a beautiful vanilla colour and it was starting to smell. So you may be able to see when it's not actually melted the image. And I do just have 1, 2, 3, 4 stray pieces of powder. So I clean up the powder now. I'm just going to pop that to the side, leave my little paintbrush there, and I can funnel this back in and start on my second image. So batch doing it. Hey Maria. Oh, she's fine. Yes, Cindy, that would be good. I must say it's been a treat this week being able to see my parents. They were over for our normal Sunday night dinners are back on, guys. And I didn't have to cook this week. We got really, really yummy. So I'm planning where I kind of want it. So I want it off to one side for this one so I can pop the sentiment there. Got really yummy sausages, mash and corn on the cob. Geez, it was nice because now I have an egg-free person in the house. We just have to be more mindful of our meals. So, oh, someone's puppy dreaming under me. She's now bashing a tail as she puppy dreams. So on the watercolor paper, I have 0 extra powder sticking anyway. So I'll pop that there, scooch this powder back in, and then we are ready to melt. Put the lid on because we all know that I would be the one to knock that over. Now I don't really need to clean my stamps because I've used Versamark, but I'll probably just give them a quick wipe over in my chamois later. So have all stuck under my laptop. Oh, nice. You'll be embossing cards for Christmas. Will you be using metallic embossing? Just a tip, make sure you're turn off your fan. Oh my god, Kathy, that is so true. Okay, so this is our heat tool. It does have 2 settings and it also has a protective tip, so I can touch the end and I'm not touching the metal tip inside, which makes it really safe. So I'm more than happy to use this with Ivy or even myself because we know how clumsy I am. So the first setting, which I will show you, is for drying ink, and this is a really good setting for using our normal inks on vellum and then drying it. So it may warp the vellum a little bit, but it doesn't shoot out a whole lot of blow, as in air pressure, and it does just help. It is still really hot, but we want a bit more blow of air out, so we're going to flick it along to 2. This is significantly quieter than other heat tools. So I'm really not raising my voice. I'm using my normal voice talking to you guys, and it's fine. I don't know, depending if you had a baby. I'm just moving this around, getting everything warm and just waiting for it to start turning, which it is. So the watercolor paper being thicker, it does just take a little bit longer to start melting. And once it's melted, I do kind of move on and then I move back. Okay, and don't over melt it or overheat it, otherwise it will just melt and absorb into whatever paper you have used. So our second image, and this paper is actually bowing up straight away, but that's okay. We'll be heating and drying this paper a number of times, so I'm not worried about any warping, because I do have an amazing way to fix that when we adhere it to the card. So Angela gave us a great tip on the weekend. It's like, oh my God, why did I never think of that? Okay, so that is all melted. Embossing porn. Oh my God, Sunny. I shouldn't have said that out loud, but that's pretty funny. Yeah, it is. Hey, Dion, how are you? We also mask indoors and some outdoor spaces. Well, our numbers have plummeted, which, oh, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get my microfiber cloth because there is some stray powder. And I'm hoping I just didn't melt that powder in to here. No, that powder is all gone into my microfiber cloth. And she's still sleeping on the floor. Okay, so now I just have the packaging from, and this happens to be from our cork. So if you've got a water resistant mat, I have another company's one, which I did use on the weekend, but you can very easily just use our plastic packaging. Hello, Miss Cheryl. Just our plastic packaging, which is what I'm going to use today. And you will also want to use now Stampin Spritzer. So you can get these in a pack of 3, and you can fill it with re-inker and water, alcohol and ink, shimmery things, so many things you can use these for. I find with my hands a little hard to press the trigger. So I have my big baby here that I'm going to use, but I do love the Stampin Spritzers for the fact that you can put bleach if you wanted to play with bleach. You can put so many things in here, which is fantastic. I wonder where our Delinda Woo is today. Missing our Miss Congeniality. Okay, so this part's like terribly hard, like so hard. Yeah, because I can't open the ink pad, so apparently it is very hard. Open the ink pad, smoosh. See, really hard so far. Open. So that was Fresh Freesia. This is Gorgeous Grape and smoosh. Okay. Doesn't matter that I didn't get a complete image. There is plenty. Oh God. Hang on, let me grab it over. Oh, sorry, Louisa. Down you hop. Sorry, miss. I didn't mean to step on your paw. Put your bottom down. No, she wants to leave now. You will just have to wait your turn, Missy Moo. This is what you get for being in here during a video. Okay, I'm not worried about this ink drying because I am going to rehydrate it, so it can sit there for a few seconds. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. You're amazing. I'm just going to close this second one because, you know, could end in disaster. Come on, down you hop. Down you hop. Good girl. If you lie down, that means I don't have to get up again. So I'm just going to spritz this so you can see that's beaded up quite nicely. I may have added a bit too much water. So we're starting with our image on the shimmery white paper. Oh, well, she's just going to have to wait now. So I'm going to pop it in the paper and just smoosh it. And once I've done this, I will pick it up. And you can see, haha, I need to get more of that Fresh Freesia, but we will fix that. Here you go, leave. Right. Don't let your tail hit you on the way out. Okay. So, I do need to get more of that Fresh Freesia in there. I need something. because I was using a big mat last time. So I've just got scrap piece of paper here. I am just going to dry the edges off a little, because this next part is going to give us that texture that we want. So I just want it to be able to lie a bit flatter, so you can see as I'm just drawing the edges, I'm leaving the embossing alone. If you haven't done this before, it's actually not very hard. I am going to get some paper towel because I can see this kind of going everywhere. Okay, so that bit of paper can go over there. I'm going to smoosh down a little bit more fresh freezer because I kind of had an inkling that Gorgeous Grape was going to take over, but that's okay. That is okay. This is where we now add some of that texture. So just going to do that. So what we're going to do is take this piece and we're just going to pounce. So you can see kind of how I'm getting that texture. So you'll see it with this one much better. Or I almost dropped it. How me putting this second layer on, I'm picking up those droplets and getting that extra texture, and you can see it down here just a little bit with the fresh freezer. Okay, it's not showing up quite as much on the fresh freezer, but that's okay. Now I am just going to keep pouncing until I am happy-ish. I've got a little corner up there that I really would love to use, but I'm really happy with how this bit's looking. So let me see if I can get this piece right here. Aha, there we go. I've now got that great texture just there. So pick up a little bit more, and I'm just building up those layers and texture. So this one I am going to leave right here, and clean up is like uber hard. Bit of water, bit of paper, and that's it. So we did pop in more of that fresh freezer in there, and now, oh, wet side, dirty side, clean side. And I'll have to use some more of that dreaded sanitizer just to get any stray ink off my hands. Beautiful colours, thank you. They were chosen by you guys. Yes, the 12 by 12 packaging, because Jamie, who often pops in here when she's not busy working, although I think she's enjoying some time between some things at the moment, she makes books using this very thick chipboard. So I save it all up for her. So I'm just going to dry these sides, and who thought wearing a white top today was a good idea? Because oh crap, sorry, I don't want to melt that plastic, so I'll just do it on my bench here, which is totally fine. So there we go. That is mostly straight, and once it's mostly dry. So if you feel that it's dry to the touch, and once the heat is gone, if it feels cold, it is still wet. If it doesn't feel cold, I'm a bit cold here in the middle, but that's okay. If it doesn't feel cold, it's dry. Okay, so now that was our shimmery white paper. We are now going onto our watercolor paper, doing exactly the same thing, and I may use a little less water. So I'm going to put soft succulent on the bottom, and I'm going to use, oh, please tell me how I'm smart here. I'm going to use pale papaya on the top. There is a reason why there's a gap, because I didn't want to contaminate my ink pads. Now I'm just closing these over. I'm not clipping them because I may need a bit of extra ink. Okay, so we're going to leave it at that. So there are some really, really wet bits and some not so wet bits. So we're going to pop our piece in, give it a bit of a wigglish here, really make sure we are picking this up. It doesn't matter that I'm getting some on the back. Okay, so this one, oh, I need more of that pale papaya right now. So I can already see I've got a really dead piece here. So I may, this is the good thing, we can just go in here, a bit more wetness, put this right here. This still isn't wet enough. That's okay. What I'm going to do is I may just need to almost wipe this off and start again, because I don't want to add any more evening evergreen. If anything, I would like some of this pale papaya to go into the evening evergreen down here. So I'm going to do this, give it a spritz like that. Okay, we are going to go in here. I just want the water to go in that area. Aha, just going to drag it along. Right, there we go. So I'm just going to put this wet piece to the side, bring in this and do the same thing again where I dry the edges. And then we're going to go in with our second, third and fourth layers until we are happy. So just going along the edges until we straighten out. So this paper bows a lot less because it's our watercolor paper. So both papers do react quite differently, and I've got some space here in this leaf, but I would like the colours to mesh a little bit more. So I'll pop this piece back here for the moment just so you can have a looky see at that. Okay, what have I done? Oh, I use it all the time. It would look amazing with Christmas colours, Ali. It really, really would. Okay, so now I want to see if we can get this extra texture. Now the texture shows up really, really differently on the watercolor paper. So my favorite is using the shimmery white, but I did want to show you the other way as well. So we've got that. I am going to need some of the soft succulent as well, and I think I will be cutting off some of that soft succulent bottom, but I do also want just to cover in this leaf piece here. So okay, Let's go in here and another piece in there. Oh, so you can see on the darker pieces here. Let me just have a look. Okay. Oh, and I'm back. So I was just doing a little bit more pouncing. That is all you have missed. Now I'm going to go really high here. And it's only ink, so we're not really going to ruin anything. Ooh, I love it. That is all I needed. And we are going to clean this off. And that's going to be as good as new. You can also use a baby wipe, but you know, paper towels and ink are definitely recyclable. So that is done and clean, and I have finished with that. And Jamie won't know I've done a technique on it when I give them to her. Okay. Yes, but I just like the organic texture of the droplets. So yeah, and you can tell me this is still wet. I haven't dried it yet just because I want to close these ink pads. You can tell me. I think this would look good with the two greens. But anyway, we changed our mind. We changed our mind. Something a bit brighter and a bit softer. Oh, I was going to heat emboss sentiments, but I didn't think of it. So I'll bring back in the stamp set while I dry our watercolour piece, and you can tell me what sentiments you think I could use. Thank you, Sunny. But you can see how we've got, rather than having like a colour wash, we do have that depth in colour. That wasn't there before, and I do need to wipe off this embossing. I will just get a clean paper towel, just slightly damp, and just wipe off the white embossing, just so we haven't got colours pooling on the white embossing, and will make that flower jump to life. No, the sentiments from in here. We've got thanks, anything is possible, congratulations, and feel better, friend. They're the three. So we need to choose two or just choose one that we will happily use for both. You like anything is possible. Okay. It makes me think of that song. I don't know if it's an Aussie song or not. So you can see just wiping that off has made that flower just sing. I did get a couple of droplets of water on this, and I'm going to actually, on this one, I'm going to show you what a couple of droplets of water looks like, because it's a really, really cool effect to add more texture. So you can see here where the water droplets have dropped, and then I've blotted it up. it's just taken away a little bit of the ink away. And that's a good way to add texture as well. So I had to do it to both because I did it to one. Thanks, and anything is possible. Done. Oh, no problem, Cindy. No problems. Great. So should we use black or grey cardstock? That is my next question while I just dry this off. Black or grey cardstock? Because, you know, I'm kind of embracing black at the moment, but I always think how harsh it is. But I'm thinking maybe with these colours, going with the grey might just work a little bit better. Grey, okay, good. You're with me, Cindy. You're with me. Okay, that feels nice and dry. So let me grab out some basic grey cardstock. Night of Navy, Smoky Slate, Basic Grey. There we go. And hopefully, whoops, hopefully I do have scraps in here that I can use. Come on. Well, that one wants to come, and I don't want a huge one. And will this one fit the thanks? I think it will. Okay, so we have thanks, and we have anything is possible. Done. And I'm going to go all out and do some hand cutting. I don't know how I'm going for time. So do you want to see these sentiments die cut, or do you want me to mimic what I've done here and hand cut them? So that's what I can now have this card sitting here because I'm not playing with water anymore. Okay, let's pop that back in. You're loving the effect, Paula. I could do both, but I've now chosen this, Paula. I mean, Cindy, sorry. Wrong person. I did know who. Deep breath. Right. Now, I don't know where my folded in half piece of paper is. So you just pounce some of that powder on there. Get rid of, because these are scraps. These pieces would have been handled so much. Where's my, there's my, oh, go away, Siri. We're not talking to you. Okay. So, Versamark. And on this, you will actually see where I have stamped, because this isn't white cardstock. And then I'm going to try and do both at the same time, because this ink should stay wet for long enough. Now, if you're my white embossing powder, you'd be hiding over here. And I am thinking of just popping these directly onto a white card base like I did before. That one, just want a little bit there. Look, that one isn't perfect, but we're going to live with it, okay? We just normally leave it sit there for a titch. Oh, look, no, they're not perfect, but you can still read what they are. Okay, right. So, and this heat tool is going to be beautiful and hot for us to use, but before I do that, I will just get rid of all my little bits. What are you very upset about? Did you put that in the wrong window, Cindy? Because I'm not sure which person, which him you're upset with. It'd either be Owen or David. Okay, I am going to need my reverse tweezers here, just because I'm using smaller pieces of paper. I really don't fancy melting or burning my fingers. Oh, you're being silly. Okay. Rightio. That's fine. All good. You be silly. You be you. So you should see this turn. There we go. That's one done. And even though that one didn't look great, it actually turned out really, really well. Okay. And this one. There we go. So I've got a couple of strays on this one, but I think it won't make a difference in the end. Right, turned off. I am going to pop up the stand because you do have a stand, so it can just sit on your table because it is a little warm after all of our use of it. Okay, great. So is everyone willing to watch me hand cut these? My sprung back scissors. These are not Stampin' Up scissors, but when I am hand cutting, I need the spring because it is so much easier on my hands. And straight across and then angle down. This one, half of it is actually really easy. And then I just cut the excess off because the excess does make it a little bit hard to do this. Although it may have been good to keep it because now I'm going to struggle. Hello, Miss Myrtle. How are you? So making sure I got these on screen. So we have done some emboss resist and ink smooshing. Do you know what? I'm going to, because that would be really smart, I'm going to see if holding it with my tweezers will be helpful to me, because then I'm not all fingers and thumbs. Kinda, note I say kinda is helping so far. I only say kinda because I'm not convinced, but anyway. Because now I'm cutting into them. So let me move them. Look, I am doing a really messy hand cut, but this is a messy scripty font, so this should be enough now for me to hold on to down here. I just had to get it where my hand, just going to cut that excess away. So I'm just going around all the edges. As you can see, I do it so precisely and beautifully, but what I do try and do, I try and move the paper and not the scissors. So that kind of is the trick to hand cutting, is moving those and not that. So what I'm thinking is I've got to work out which way I think this stamp goes. So I kind of like that anything is possible there, because that's a nice spot for it, and then I kind of will like the thanks over those two leaves. And I still have some gritty stuff there. I did get a little bit of ink on my new mat, but I will live. Oh, thanks for sharing. I am doing okay. Actually, I'm a bit sad. I'm watching Made on Netflix, and I'm up to the second last episode, which is actually really, really sad. So, yeah. And I wanted to keep watching, but I was on here with you guys. So I stopped watching, and I just want to finish it. I want to find out what she does and what happens to her. So if you've had any domestic violence in your life, I recommend not watching this, because it could be incredibly triggering. But yeah, and then the next series that's just come out on Netflix that is also kind of a weird stalkerish series is the next series, You. And I think I'm going from one traumatic series to another. But that's okay. It's not real life, and I know that. It's like that voyeur into a lifestyle that I'm very fortunate not to have lived or be living. Sorry, just concentrating. Don't mind me. Okay, what I actually have to do is that excess does eventually get in the way, so I just snip it away, so then I've got a free edge that my scissors aren't dragging on, and oh my god, it helps so much. And then I just move my hand along as I need. Try not to cut my fingers on the blade as I'm going along. This one is, I would like to get a bit closer there, but it's just not going to happen. And that bit is now getting in the way, so I'll snip that bit off. Now, has anyone fallen asleep while I've been hand cutting? I'm not sure if black wouldn't have been better, but anyway, I may back these pieces in a bit of grey to kind of make them like they're meant to be, their kind of thing. This thanks is actually more difficult. I don't know why. I was doing so well there for a second, and now I'm not. Paying attention. Okay, just checking on you, Cindy. These Nana naps, I don't know, they're contagious. Aha. Okay, home stretch. Home stretch, and let's do a nice little curvy curve roundy bit there, and that is so not curvy curve roundy bit. Okay, move your hand. Now I will be back on Thursday, and by Thursday I should be showing you, I'm hoping my Eden's Garden turns up. It is massively delayed. But if not, I will share you one of my projects from class on the weekend. So while I've got these here, I'm going to get my dimensionals and dimensional these guys up. I even use black dimensionals on these. I'll show you. So you can't see the dimensionals down the side because they're black. So a tip is you can get our black dimensionals. They come in mini and in big size in one pack, which is a bit exciting. Curvy curve, roundy roundy, love that one. I got to get myself through it somehow, seriously. I really, really do. So, okay, so I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put one. No, will it fit? Just going to put one here, and then what I have been doing, I've been cutting my edges very thinly. Deep breath. So this is what I do with my edges of my minis because they work so well for this. Okay, pull one end off. Oh, for lordy do. Come off. Thank you. I'll now bring my rubbish bin in. Oh, do you know what? I put away my basic grey cardstock. I'm going to have to get it out. So that just nicely supports the middle there. Now on here, I don't know if I can just use, no. Pop that back down. I'll grab my minis. They will work so much better. Just add a few more than what I normally would. I'm having a little difficult time absorbing you being or saying seriously. Well, you can read seriously as me saying other words in my head because things aren't working out the way I want. So I'm talking to myself going, seriously, why are you doing that? Where I really want to be using other words, but I'm being a good streamer and not using those other words. And now you may all laugh at me because I know you were all knowing, or most of you were knowing, the words I was saying. Okay, so I just want to trim a little bit off this because I'm not happy with the proportion, and I knew that going in. So just going to snip. Oh, that didn't cut all the way through. That did. So I'm going to snip a bit off there. I don't have an answer. And just snip that little white portion, and that gets rid of most of the green transfer off the top. And I think I like that a whole lot better. So that thanks is just going to nestle in there. So now that I've got that, I just want to have a looky-see at sizing. Okay, grab down my grey cardstock again. Now I can't find it. Where did I put it? Cindy, you stole it. No, it's over here. It's all good. I don't think I have any big enough scraps. Is this? No, that's a card base. So that's not helpful either. Okay, full sheet of basic grey. Rest of it can go over there. So that was about 8.9. So if I go 9.4, that is half a centimetre. And then if I go this way and I do a little bit of measuring, and that is going to be 10.9. So just adding 1/2 centimetre to my edges. That one is just not, although I could, do you know what? I'm just going to do that on that piece and that'll work really well. Okay, so now to show you how to flatten these pieces out. And our secret weapon is our foam adhesive sheets. I love the font too. Hey Deb, how are you? Now that I can absorb. You're funny, Cheryl. Yes, you know what my mouth would normally be saying. It's with the cards that I lost last Sunday. So you haven't found those cards yet, Cindy? That's hilarious. Oh my dear word. Okay, so these are full adhesive sheets, full foam adhesive sheets. So they come in a pack. You get 6 in a pack. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to snip it down. I'm going to use my big scissors here. I'm going to snip about there. And then this is going to cover majority of the back. And then I can use the extra pieces for other things. So just take off the backing and pop it on. I wouldn't have minded this piece a little bit wider, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. No, just get a whole nother piece. The scraps are good even for backing these shapes here, but I will always use the backings. Okay. Or you can lay it down like this, do a bit of a so let me have a look. Yep, do a bit of a snip. Get it somewhat straight, but you know, it doesn't really matter. And then I just eyeball the bottom because that is not straight at all. Let me see. Well, it's big enough. Good-o, good work. Okay, so take that off, stick this down. Okay, so now this has straight away straightened out both of these pieces because you've got a full adhesive back. Now this is where I am going to struggle, is lining this up, but hey, let's just do it. Okay, so I'm making sure I'm lined up. So I just say, oh my god, who am I? That worked really well. So that is that, and then I'm going to put the thanks on there and pop it on a white card. I do think I may need some white twine, just to, like I did with the original card that is now being swept off to the side. Hang on, my grey cardstock can go over there because of course I've made a mess. So you can see I did add in a little bit of white twine underneath, and that did bring it all together. Okay, now, because because it's not in here, I haven't got stuff in my way. They go in the bin. I have so much stuff over my floor from where I have just been chucking it. So anyone who wants to come over and clean up after me, much appreciated, honestly. Or I just may be lazy and just go get the vacuum cleaner. But then I have to vacuum up all Louise's hair at the same time. Then turns into a really big job. Okay, so see how there isn't much definition down here? That is exactly where I'm going to pop this. But, so on this one, I don't feel like I need any more white to tie it together. But on this one, I do. So I'm going to grab out our Baker's Twine Essentials pack. So you get white, vanilla, crumb cake, grey granite, and basic black. And I'm just going to grab out the basic white, and I'm going to take off this. No, maybe I didn't need this middle piece after all of this. Maybe. So kind of, I'll grab a glue dot and I'll shove it where I did it. They do pop, don't they? But yeah, you can see what I mean. This grey, just I could have used the black just to get a bit more of a pop. But once I add some of this twine, you will just see that little lift. So glue dot. So glue dot about there will do. Not on my finger, on the card. Glue dot there. Right. So I kind of don't want to see the end. God, someone's playing heavy metal. Oh, that's right. That's Miss Lavender playing a bit of heavy metal. Okay, and just a couple of loop-de-loops, and then the thanks can go over the top. So it doesn't matter what it looks like underneath. The thanks is going to go over the top, and you can see how that now pops nicely. And I am going to, because now I can't find, yes I can, I am going to take this piece off because I don't need the dimension there, because I've got support from, just go in, okay, you're just going to stay like that, because I've got the height from the twine. I only need the support on either end of this. 1 and 2 in there. Okay. And we're just going to go a little bit higher up. We're just going to go like that. Now, I'm not worried that that thanks isn't straight. Now, I am just going to put these on regular white card bases. So I'm not going to stick with shimmer or anything because no one can tell the white that I've used. So these are just going to go on basic. That's normal whisper white, Ellen. That's not going to help anyone. They're not rigid enough. Okay. I have 2 here, pre-cut ones. Always nice to have a few basic white pre-cuts up your sleeve, I can tell. Don't mind me. What I was saying though, I can tell I haven't unpacked from class. That's what I was saying. Okay. 1 card base, 2 card base, and my score always has the mountain part of the score in the middle because you get a better, crisper close. Oh, yes, I will share what colours I used. Don't worry, I will get these glued down and I shall share those colours with you. Don't fret, Paula. But the good thing is now I've got some wiggle room with this piece, because the original card I did, because it has no backing on it, it just went straight down on the card, kind of sort of centering it, although pulling it down a bit, yeah, just to there. I will remove that glob of glue when it dries. Yes, so just down a little bit. Now I could add rhinestones. Do you know what I'm actually going to grab? I am going to grab, where are they? No. Here they are. I'm going to grab some clear faceted gems and just pop those on because they are going to work beautifully. So now I've only got big ones in here because this is the end of the packet, but I think these will work just lovely to add a little bit of something to the project, but not too much because they're clear. They don't really take away, and this last one, it's kind of begging to be used, so kind of like him up there. And I finished a sheet of embellishments. So excitement, love it when that happens. Okay, and then I've just got these ones left. Next card, and this one, once again, I think I might just go down a little bit. Don't know. I think just spatially it works a little bit, just having it down. Now this one I won't add any further embellishment to unless you guys scream out and tell me that I should, because I think it looks fine all by its lonesome, just with that twine. Okay, so that down there. So I've used significantly bigger pieces to what I used in the original card. Okay, so I'll take my original one out. The grey looks nice. Definitely looks better backed with, yeah, it definitely looks better backed. And every time you do this, it will turn out differently because it matters how much water you use. It matters what colours you use. You'll get a different effect every time. Okay, so these are the 2 cards I made. I have used Pale Papaya and Soft Succulent, and then I used Fresh Freesia and Gorgeous Grape. Okay, so only 4 colours. I used white embossing powder. I used our Elegant Faceted Gems. And where's my stamp set when you need it? Whoops. Let me close the stamp set. So, do you know what I might do? I might scooch these off to the side, scooch these this way, pop, and pop this over here. So, use that, use white embossing powder. Right, I think that's everything I used. I used shimmery white for this one. I will show them to you close up, because I know a lot of you always go, oh my god, the photos look so much different, and they actually do. So that's that one. Close up. And then I will show you. This one won't have any shimmer, but you do have that shine that we wiped off the excess ink, and this is the watercolor paper. Okay, so just nice to, especially with the shine in that paper, in the shimmery white, to add a little bit more to it. Thank you, girls. Thank you so much for joining me. As I say, I'll be back on Thursday at 12 noon to do either an unboxing if my supplies arrive. If not, it will be one of the projects from my class on the weekend. Okay, so 12 noon Australian daylight time, because we're on daylight saving. I love both too, Candy, although I'm always partial to purple, and I just like the bloom in the middle of the fresh freesia. I love how I got that to bloom. But I can tell you, I could never replicate that in a heartbeat. I just won't be able to. But yes, thank you so much. I will see you on Thursday. Any questions, please don't hesitate to drop me a comment, a private message, whatever works for you. Thanks so much. I'll